Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I am your host, the Radio CD, and I'm really excited to start working on the rest of the main floor. And actually, we are finishing the main floor today. We have a living room, a powder room, a staircase slash hallway area, and a garage to complete. So we have a lot of work to get done. And I'm saying this like I haven't done it already because if I look next to me, the living room is currently finished. But for those of you who haven't built it, yes, y'all have a lot of work to get done. So I'm gonna jump into the video right after I tell you that some of the footage got corrupted because my computer decided to continuously crash. So that was great, but we moved. I was able to salvage most of the footage. If you're having some problems following along, let me know. And I'll have pictures like up at the end, like for the tour and on my socials. Yeah, just bear with me. So I started with, first off, changing our doorway from being in here. I was gonna try to put it in here because I liked the entryway table and everything that we had right here a lot better than just this doorway. But it kind of left us with having our chairs like in the middle sort of here, and then we had the doorway here, which was, it's not the end of the world, but that's not where I wanted them. And I went ahead and fixed the trim on some of our doorways so they all match. And now the only thing that I have to do that I forgot, I shifted our windows just a little bit so they match up with the door outside. So now that we have that in, I want to add some built-ins to each side of our fireplace. And I also want to make a completely different, well, not completely different, but I want to make my own fireplace. So we're just going to use this as the basic form for our fireplace. And I'm thinking some sort of wooden mantle in place of our painted mantle on the original fireplace. And I really wish you could scale these bookshelves, but we're going to make this work. So here we are making our bookshelves to go in the living room. This is pretty much the same process that I did with making the built-in in the kitchen, which I guess if you're just now joining the series, then you wouldn't know what I did in the kitchen, but yeah. Usually I do a little tour of what we did the episode before, but I forgot for this episode. If I remember, I'll try to do it next episode, but I'm planning to finish the whole house next episode. So yeah, this is editing me, by the way. So yeah, I just kind of have to fill up this little like minute and a half that we have of me doing this bit of detail work here. Don't worry about doing the molding on the sides if you're trying to follow along. That's all gonna be covered up because this whole thing is gonna be like a stone fireplace. So yeah, don't worry about that. And I'm pretty much just gonna copy this shelf over to the other side. I wouldn't even really worry about the decorations, to be honest, because they're gonna be changed around a little bit. So yeah, whoa. I couldn't really use any of the in-game options that we had to stick over here. Well, I could have, but it wouldn't have looked very good. So I just decided to make my own, and it turned out really nicely. I may try to reuse these somewhere else upstairs. We don't have a lot more rooms to do in general. We only have these few bedrooms and such to do before the whole house is done, which is crazy. And I have to finish this house. I thought about just kind of abandoning the series. It's not that it's not performing well. It's doing okay, I guess. Nah, it's not doing that incredibly well, but I'm also doing this kind of late. Like if I was gonna do a winter house or a Christmas house in general, it should have been done like a while ago, but yeah. We're coming up on the end of finishing up these bookshelves, and then the next time you'll hear from me is when we're doing the Christmas tree, which is going to take us a little while. So yeah, I will see all of you guys there. So now that we're done making this built-in, I'm gonna go ahead and start decorating. And honestly, decorating these shelves is like, this is the last thing that I wanted to do today. It's just we don't have a lot of variation as far as surface decor goes, unless you start digging into like decals and stuff, which I'm gonna try to tone down the use of so many decals. I mean, we haven't been using a ton, I don't think. Not too many more than the typical amount, I would say. And honestly, I'm just trying to remember what I usually do. So I'm gonna stick a few more decorations in here. So I'm thinking something like that. And honestly, I'm just gonna copy this to the other side. And of course, we're gonna change the decorations and stuff because we can't just leave it like that. And now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't really need to do that trim on the sides because I think I'm gonna cover up the sides anyways with this basic shape. So I think this looks a little bit cleaner. It looks even better when it's actually even with both sides. And then we have two options for what to put in the middle. And that is we do a TV, which I can't really do legs on this TV, can I? We don't have that much space. So we either do a TV or we do like a clock. I understand that a TV is more functional, but I'm also debating on whether it's also kind of ugly. And I would have to say that it's both. So I'm gonna do my little picture trick and cover up the TV with a painting. And once I change that painting, it's gonna look a lot better and not like an oven is in the middle of your wall. But that way, when you turn the TV on, you'll actually see what is on the TV screen, but when you turn it off, it'll turn into a picture. Pretty cool. All I have to do now is cover up this annoying logo like so. And inside the fireplace, I'm gonna use this pile of chopped wood, and I'm hoping that I can hide this in there and it look okay. That may need some adjusting later, but I'm just trying to get everything in here now. I'm gonna go ahead and vary up some of our decor as well on these shelves. And honestly, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna delete that decor. In fact, I'm gonna leave all the decor over here. I'm gonna move this here, and then we can come back and decorate this shelf later, because I kind of forgot that this is going to be where our Christmas tree goes, and I would like to still have two chairs here and make that work somehow, but I don't think that's gonna work out in our favor either. So while keeping it new, I think I'm just gonna combine this with the mid-century or the contemporary armchair. And this also happens to be a lot smaller and less bulky. So maybe I can just kind of slide these together, kind of like they've been moved so that we can put the Christmas tree in here. And if only I could copy this whole tree. Well, actually, I want a slightly bigger tree over here anyway, so that's not the end of the world. And before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and get the pillows and stuff for our sofas and our armchairs done. And I like doing this because it adds some plushness to our otherwise pretty flat sofa here. And we'll do some pillows on the corners. Probably shouldn't have made them this flush. That was probably a bit much, but it's okay. And I don't like where the legs are placed on this particular, honestly, any of the sofas that we have, even though I haven't really used many of the new ones. So I won't say that, but at least the older ones, the leg placement is just usually pretty terrible. To be fair, I think this is supposed to be a sectional, and currently it is not. So we're gonna do something like that, and then we'll do the same thing here. Usually I also add these to the seat cushions as well, like I did in the entryway, but I don't think we're gonna do that here. We're just gonna keep it nice and simple. Kind of feel like our chairs need a little bit of something extra, but I'm thinking that once we get the textures and everything sorted out, that everything is just gonna kind of come together, I'm hoping. And honestly, I'm gonna throw this mid-century end table in here. And then maybe we'll get the transitional nightstand as wow. See why I don't use that very often. That's just really tiny. Okay, I'm gonna slide the sofa over. It's tiny, but oh no, that's just ridiculous. I think I'm gonna go for this one, maybe. And the last thing I want to add in here is a coffee table. And honestly, I just can't be bothered to have one with a shelf in it. So I'm gonna slide that over just a little bit. It's not gonna be completely centered with the fireplace. If I do that. So maybe we won't do that. And then I wish this door was maybe just slightly to the left. And this straight up looks like a nightstand, which I know it is. Should probably get like an actual end table. Oh, that may work possibly. I don't, but I think I'm going to use this one for now, the industrial floor lamp. And now in this corner, I'm going to start working on our Christmas tree. So here we are doing that Christmas tree that I talked about like, I don't know, 5 minutes ago. We are currently just doing the little bush trick. I'm moving it down about 0.15. Actually, no. I just put it on the medium grid size and then just moved the block down one by one until we got to the floor. So yeah, I'm just trying to recall what I did. that is what we did, and then we're just copying the bush that we put up there before, and making it slightly larger until we get to the bottom to give it that sort of tapered look. Honestly, if you're going for that sort of like pencil tree, like smaller, like thinner Christmas tree for, I guess, a space where you don't have as much floor area as I do in this corner, which it's not like we have a ton here anyways, but you could just use the same bush pretty much all the way up until you get to the top and then start tapering it off. This is, I don't know, this is just a nicer way to make a Christmas tree than any of the ones that we have in game. In my humble opinion, I think we may have gotten some new ones, which I just didn't bother to even take a look at. Mainly because Lucas used to do this back in the day, or he did it once back in the day, and he's gone. So I'm just going to pretend that this is my idea. So yeah, we're going to start bringing in some of these decorations that we put on the other tree. We're going to wrap a garland around it. We're going to put ornaments and snowflakes on this one as well. Yeah, we have a little bit of work to do. And as you can see, I'm very quickly running out of money. I had to go work in the middle of this. Very embarrassing, because I was like, oh, I can't place anything. Why is that what's going on with the game? Nah, you're just broke. So we went and fixed that issue. We're adding our garland now. The only thing I didn't do on camera, well, I did do it on camera. I just cut it out because I tried to fit a lot in this video that maybe I shouldn't have. Yeah, trying to finish this whole floor in one video, knowing how much I go back and detail stuff and none of that. Yeah, crazy. But I wanted to fit it all in here to kind of just wrap up the first floor. So the only thing I cut out some of the recoloring and maybe some of the ornament placement. It's like structural. You just spin them around to look like ornaments. Very, very simple. I also cut out doing the coffee table. I used some basic cylinders as coasters, as glass coasters. What else did I do? I copied the same vase that we have in the kitchen on the island into here. And what else did I do? We might have had like a book or two on the table. I think that's it. Nothing too serious, to be honest. I was gonna put another basket on the table until I went back. I usually go back to my older builds, especially if I haven't built in a while, to be like, okay, so what do you usually do in here? And I put that basket on like every table apparently. So I wanted to try to do something a little different. And here we are doing that thing that is a little bit different. So as you can see, here's me placing those structurals, and all I'm gonna do, honestly, you could leave them like that if you wanted like a longer ornament, I suppose, but I just spin them around so they just look like circles. You could use basic shapes to do that. It's a lot more expensive, but it's an option. And that was when I realized I had no money, and then I went to work for like 30 minutes, and then I came back. Well, more like 20 here. Yeah, more like 20. And now we're gonna place some of these snowflakes around the tree, which honestly, I should have done that on the other tree we have in the dining room as well, but I didn't. Yeah, very simple process. It just takes a while. It's a lot of spinning of the camera. If you're on mobile trying to do this, if you're on mobile and you build anything at all, I applaud you. I don't know how you do it. I know people that build on mobile and they do some incredible things, and I'm like, how? I can barely do this on a PC, and I have all these keys, and I don't know all the hotkeys, that's terrible. But anyways, we are nearing the end of this little sped up section that I have here. I may have also done some very, very slight detail work off camera, like doing some molding fixes and such. Yeah, nothing too insane, to be honest, but we're about to jump back into the build. So I will see you guys with past me. Yeah, past me. I will see you guys later. So we are back. The next day, I went ahead and recolored a few more things off camera, mainly because it just takes me a long time to do these things. I think I got most of it on camera, and then my computer crashed. So that's my excuse for not doing everything on camera, but okay. We move. That's not the only thing I technically did. I went ahead and added the lights to the tree, and I added some outlets and the plugs for the lamps. I did the molding. I'm not sure if I did that on camera or not. I think, I'm not mistaken, I believe that is everything that I did. I went around and adjusted some things. I put the stairs in the house. I adjusted the floor here to fill in this extra gap that we had. I added the trim around this doorway. Just like basic sort of things that you have to do that I think is okay that I cut out, I hope. But overall, I'm pretty content with the living room. I think it's cute. It's nothing too special, but I think that's okay as well. Because if I'm being honest, this room and this room is more of like what's getting your attention on this floor. So I don't mind the living room being kind of basic. So yeah, we're gonna move on. So we're gonna divide this up like so. I mean, I'm saying that like I know what I'm doing. I do somewhat know what I'm doing, but I don't do this very often at all. Actually, I don't think I've done this. I think I've done this once before, and that house was never posted. So, and this is a thing I see a lot of people starting to do. Well, on Instagram, I see people doing this, so I'm not going to say a lot of people are doing this because that may not actually be true. But I do see this on like Pinterest and stuff a lot. And usually these will be pull-out drawers, and it wouldn't be in a hallway this tiny either. But they'd be like pull-out drawers where you can like take advantage of all the space that is back here. I personally am not going to do that. What we will be doing is covering up a lot of this depth that we have so I can place some decorations in here. And some of these more awkward spots, I'm just going to cover them up completely just so it looks a little bit cleaner. And I'm going to leave this for now. We're going to go back and of course recolor everything. This shouldn't, well, I don't want to lie on camera because I already did about this being a budget house. I don't know what I was thinking, but this shouldn't take us a ton of time to recolor because I'm not putting a ton of stuff in here. So hopefully I can stay true to that one promise. I'm also going to bring in this wainscoting again, and I am tempted to bring it up the stairs. So I may just do that. I think we'll use the stepped crown molding down here and then leave the big crown molding for upstairs. So I did a little bit more than just change the color. I just need to add that so it matches up with the rest of these. Anyways, that's not important. I went upstairs and I extended the primary bathroom to be a little bit bigger. to get rid of this whole two-story thing we had in here. It just wasn't working. This whole room was this color at one point, and I liked it, but it was just a little bit too dark. So I'm thinking we pair the same colors that we have in the entryway with a different color ceiling in here. We pretty much have a different ceiling in every room, but that's fine. It's unique. That's what we're gonna call it. I'm gonna get to decorating these shelves on camera just so I actually have something to post. Or enough footage to fill up this video. I don't think that's gonna be a problem, to be honest, but you know, let's just make sure that it's not gonna be an issue. And honestly, I'm not even mad at the idea of just putting a bunch of wicker baskets in this stupid shelf and calling it a day, because I don't feel like decorating a bunch of shelves. And I think that just looks good, it looks clean. We already have a lot going on in this room, so I'm just like, we should probably just leave it as it is. I do want to get a painting. We definitely need something on this wall here. I was thinking a clock. I forgot we have a grandfather clock. Not like I have anywhere to put that, but we do have one. I'm gonna grab this transparent decal, and I think I'm gonna do a custom, well, not custom, a decal clock on this wall. I also changed out the railing to get rid of the garlands. I just know. With the lights in it is a bit much. Is there one? I didn't even check. Is there one with a garland that doesn't have light? No. If I wanted that, I have to do it myself. Which I suppose I could, to be honest. I mean, why not? And I'm just gonna slide this into the railing just a little bit. And we can use the same sort of red that is on the ceiling, or not. And that can be our little bit of festivity in this room. That is okay. I'm gonna trim out, I added a window here. I just copied one from the dining room over to here. And then I also added one up here. So I'm just gonna quickly add some L and in here. A few windows. I don't know if the one in the bathroom is gonna stay. So I'm going to trim out both of these windows on the inside and outside, apparently, and I will return. And because this is an entrance to the house, I'm thinking we bring in some of these hanging hooks. And it would be really, really nice if we could have a little place to put your keys as well. I don't know why I looked up decorations and put in shelf. Clearly, very clearly in storage. I'm gonna put a little shelf here and attach a structural to it like this. So we'll do something like so in this corner. And I'm just gonna grab these keys from over here and put them here because I don't think I will be able to use... Or does that look stupid? I don't know. I haven't decided. I'll decide later. That's fine. Whatever. I like the hooks. I just needed something to go on these walls to kind of break up the Victorian wallpaper that we have up. And I think I'm gonna go in, like I said I wasn't going to do. I'm just gonna spot in a few different decorations into some of these gaps here. And now we're gonna move on to our powder room, which I would really, really like to change the color of this door. But you know, if I do that, what's going to happen is it's gonna change the color of the entire door on both sides, which is what I don't want it to do. But I'm also debating if I care or not about how it looks in here. Honestly, I may just paint it like this for the screenshots and then change it back. A little clickbaity, but we should be able to individually color each side of a door. But I'm not going to complain about that because they gave us some pretty cool bathroom stuff about 4 hours ago now. And I think I want to attempt to use it. So now that we're starting on this room, I'm going to get rid of the blinds. So I want to add some crown molding, and I don't think I want to add the wainscoting in here. So I kind of want the wallpaper to show on its own. We're of course going to add some trim to our window. Now, I don't know if it's just me or is this vanity light on the floor? Oh no, that's like regular heights. Am I building my vanities too high? Is that what this is telling me? Because that looks really short, but it's not, it's fine. Okay. The one thing I don't like about this vanity, at least in this particular case, usage case, is how it just goes into the wall like that. So we're not going to do that. I'm gonna make an arch behind the faucet, which is highly, highly unnecessary, but I feel like this must be done. And we'll do a mirror above our vanity as well as vanity lights, and then above the toilets I want to get a shelf, maybe a shelf or two above the toilet like so. And now I think it's time for us to add all of our standard bathroom there. Oh, we did get a towel rack or a towel warmer. Super cute item, just not I don't think it's gonna work in here. So we crashed again, but I went back in and changed a few things. The red ceiling in here is gone. It was a bit much. This place is dark already. It doesn't need to be any darker. We have like no natural light in here, even with the 2 windows we have going on. So I'm just gonna leave it as such. In here, I forgot to change this to a mirror. I will do that at a later date. It's a red bathroom. Very interesting choice of colors. It's kind of monotonous. I'm gonna try to add some variation to some of the reds we have in here. Maybe add a different color attempt to, I don't know. But for now, it's okay. It's kind of classic. I want to head, and added doors to the upstairs. Very, very unimportant. We're not even gonna get there today, I don't think, because I want to start adding, or I want to complete the garage, which will finish off the main floor, which is kind of crazy to say, but that will be the last thing that we have to do. So in this space, I want to do a laundry room. So let me get our laundry stuff out. And honestly, the commercial washer and dryer is not even like the worst idea because they take up a lot of space. It's not too much more expensive than the ones I would have used anyways. And I don't know, they just feel like they would belong in a garage. Like if it had to be that way, like these would be in a garage if they weren't in a laundromat. So I'm gonna do those. They are absolutely massive. They are huge. Wow, so big in fact that maybe I've changed my mind. Like what if we do something like this instead? And I was like, I don't want to move these over because they're not going to be centered with the gable, but they're not centered right now. So if I wanted to, I could center them. They're not going to be centered with this room, but that's okay. I'm 1000% okay with that. I can center these under the window. We can do a counter on each side, and then in this corner on a platform, hear me out, I'm gonna do a water heater right there. I understand that's a very interesting decision, but it wouldn't be the first time that I've done something like that. And I'm also gonna run these baseboards across the entire garage, and maybe we can do that last. We can get rid of the blinds last. We have this table that's, for the time being, I'm just going to move it upstairs and maybe we'll find a place for it. These bows, I think I was gonna put them on top of the tree or something, and that just didn't happen. I like my tree as it is, so we're gonna leave it. And we do still have this pottery stuff, which was supposed to be temporary, but I'm not even mad about keeping this in the house, to be honest. If only this thing wasn't so big. I mean, we could get rid of the non-functioning water heater that we're about to make, but I would rather not do that. Honestly, I think I'm gonna pick up one of the chemistry counters. Oh, these are two-sided. That's no fun because it just feels kind of industrial to me. I just don't want to pull like one of the outside cabinets and bring them in here. Maybe we'll just pull one of these commercial counters and do something like that. Honestly, we could even build out this wall and then have this in the corner like this. I wonder if this would still be functional if I put a wall through it like that. And then we could pretend that this is vented out through the roof. I mean, we don't even have to pretend. If I wanted to, we could throw one of these little chimney pieces up there. And I can resize it, which is kind of interesting. I don't hate that concept, but I feel like somebody else would. So we're just gonna leave that on the table as something that we could do if we wanted to. I'm gonna put that over there, and then we still have plenty of space for cars and such over here. And as far as lighting goes, because I know it's gonna be pretty dark in here, I've never used these industrial ceiling lamps before, not even in a garage, because I mean, this is just the worst type of lighting in my opinion. And it is still the worst type of lighting. We're just gonna do can lights in here for our recessed lights. And it is still quite dark in here, but I can also add some lights in the basement to brighten it up just a little bit more. I think this is kind of adorable. I just hope it's functional. I really do. I don't know if that's actually going to work like that. I am going to quickly go work for a little bit of money because we're struggling. And there's a few things I want to add in here that I currently don't have money for. So yeah, I'm going to go do that and then I'll be back. So instead of building this live, even though I did actually record commentary for this, it's going to take way too long, unfortunately. And wow. Okay, voice crack. I would expect y'all to be tired of hearing me speak at this point, so we are just going to speed this along, and I'm just going to show you the important parts of this garage, which one of them is doing this water heater. Um, I do this a lot, actually. Any house that I have that's had a garage in the past, like, I don't know, 2 or so years has had a water heater. Actually, no. I think I started doing this in 2021, but I don't know if I continued doing this since then in every house. But it's been a pretty consistent asset in my past few houses, which is kind of weird because people don't really have these big water heaters anymore. um but we are kind of like riding the line of this being a historical house. So we're just gonna say that they have an old Giant's gas water heater. Well, I guess if you have a gas water heater, yes, it would be this size. I'm quite sure. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic or a plumber, none of that. I'm getting my degree in architecture, which means I have like no experience with any of that. So yeah, I still have a lot to learn. You know, it's my first year, so yeah. We are just kind of placing things everywhere to kind of figure out like what we are going to place in here. And yeah, we're doing trim work and a lot of unimportant stuff. In fact, we're gonna skip ahead to where we're doing this little storage rack above our garage area, pretty much I guess where your cars would be. This is just something I like to do to add a bit of visual interest to your garage. I found this, I think I was looking for like garage storage options or something a few years back, and this was just up there, and I pretty much put this in all my garages now. I don't know. This is kind of a cool, I've never seen this in real life. Like I've never been to somebody's garage and this was there, but I do think this is a cool concept. It's a bit of extra storage for you to place things. In the game, makes absolutely no sense, not functional whatsoever, but it does look pretty cool. We have a lot of stuff in this garage as far as like role-playing items and stuff go. So yeah, we're just gonna spot a few more decorations around here. And honestly, I am going to cut this short. We have all the items in. I just went through and recolored a bunch of stuff. Um, which yeah, I'm just gonna cut all of that out so we can hopefully keep this under 40 minutes. I don't want this to be longer than 40 minutes, so I'm not gonna hold you guys for too much longer. Let's go ahead and cut to the tour. So here we are back at our lovely craftsman home, and I'm actually going to start in the entryway today because we do have a slight change here with the addition of this doorway, which leads into the rest of the house. We of course have our lovely storage area that we made under the stairs, some lovely wallpaper all the way around, and of course our wainscoting, which I said I was going to carry up the stairs, but I think it is fine just kind of cutting off right here. And then of course upstairs we have all of our bedrooms and our bathrooms, which we are going to do in the next episode. And I actually found a place for us to put that entryway table that I kept kind of just moving around. And I think it's actually going to make a good little piece right here. We have our little shelf in our coat rack, which I decided to keep. It's really growing on me, to be honest. I don't know if in real life I would ever put my keys here because it's kind of awkward, but I don't know. I kind of like how it looks in the game. And of course, in here we have our powder room, which is in this really rich red color. I like it. You know, I'm re-recording this this tour so that is more relevant to what I said in the voiceovers. And at first I was really critical of this bathroom, especially because of this white door. But honestly, it's not bad and it's different. It's is somewhat unique, so we'll take a win where we can get it. And through this last door in the hallway is our garage, which looks kind of majestic with the sun rays coming in through these big windows. I don't typically do a lot of windows in my garages because, I mean, what is there to see in here? But I can't deny that having the natural light in here is actually a really nice addition. We of course have our water heater in this corner, and then we have some like painting decorations because we have our little, well, I forgot to get rid of this thing, but we have our little pottery making station over here and our kiln slash oven over here. I think that's called a kiln. I don't do pottery either, so don't at me on that one, but we do have it in here along with some bikes that I hung up on the wall here, which I really like using this as a hack. I'm gonna have to figure out how to make some actual like bike racks that, you know, you can hang up on the wall. We have our storage up above, which I think adds a lot of visual interest to the ceiling so that it's not just one big giant white void. And then of course some more lawn tools and stuff and a little bug catching net for you to catch bugs. Maybe not in this weather, but you know, when it comes to springtime, which I feel like I'm the only one that has yet to use the bug catching feature of this game, but you know, there's always a first time for something. And now we're going to go back inside and into the living room, which is honestly really growing on me. I can say that about pretty much all the rooms that I've done previously. Last week slash like a week and a half ago, we did this lovely kitchen, which at first I was like, I'm not sure how to feel about it because of how dark it is, but like this is snazzy. Like this is, I don't know, this kitchen has a bit of sass to it, so I feel like I made the right decision there. And then just kind of bringing in those sort of dark rusticy vibes into the living room, I feel like was a great idea. And I like our blue sofa and armchairs, and of course the star of the show is our lovely Christmas tree, which I think looks absolutely stunning here, especially in the screenshot, top tier. And I was talking to you guys about the TV, which if I turn it on, the picture goes away. If I turn it off, it comes back, which I think such a cool hack. And I'm glad it actually works like that in the game. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with how all of this turned out. And with that, this episode is going to be concluded. I hope you all really enjoyed this video as much as I did. If you did, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and do all those YouTube things so they can keep promoting my videos. And we will be back, hopefully within the next week or so, to finish off the upstairs and close out with the backyards in the episode after that. So I'm going to go finish editing this video and hopefully get to work on the rest of the rooms in our lovely house. Remember to leave all your suggestions down below, and I will see you all in the next one.